Look at the time! Look at the time, there's 7 seconds of blood.
You know the miracle. Now, meet the casualty. After blowing a 15-11 lead, FaZe Clan didn't just lose a game. They lost faith in their leader. They said he was the problem, but 4 years later, he would become the solution. To understand the fall, you have to understand the height. Entering 2018, FaZe Clan wasn't just a team, they were the Galacticos, an all-star lineup bought and paid for to win trophies. And Finn, Karrigan, Andersen was the conductor. His job was impossible. Take 4 of the biggest egos in the world and make them listen. And for a while, it worked. Until Boston. That loss in Boston broke something that couldn't be fixed with practice. It broke the trust. In Counter-Strike, when you choke a massive lead on the biggest stage, the finger almost always points to the in-game leader. The Boston loss acted like a virus. It infected the team. Suddenly, the super team stopped playing like a unit and started playing like 5 individuals trying to be heroes. The narrative shifted instantly, but the loudest voice wasn't on the internet. It was inside the team. Nico, the star player, lost faith. He decided that firepower was more important than structure. Slowly, he stripped Karrigan of his command. It was a mutiny in slow motion. In December 2018, the axe finally fell. FaZe Clan benched Karrigan. It was humiliating. They didn't just cut him, they effectively told the world that he was the obstacle to their success. He left behind the super team he built. He left behind Rain, the only teammate who stood by him. At 28 years old, Karrigan was exiled to Mousesports, a team of rookies and rejects, a team nobody took seriously. But while FaZe was trying to win without a brain, the leader was about to teach them a lesson they would never forget. When Karrigan put on the Mousesports jersey in 2019, the community saw it as a retirement home, a place where washed-up legends went to cash their final paychecks. He wasn't given a super team, he was handed a science experiment. He had Woxic, a Turkish opper playing with a sensitivity 4 times higher than the average pro. He had Ropz, a quiet prodigy who had been accused of cheating because he was too good. And he had Frozen, a 16-year-old kid who still had to finish his high school homework before practice. It was the island of Misfit toys, but Karrigan didn't see rejects. He saw clay that hadn't been molded yet. He realized that if he couldn't buy a championship team, he would have to build one. Meanwhile, the team that exiled him was discovering a brutal truth. You can buy talent, but you can't buy leadership. FaZe Clan entered a tailspin. They tried to fix the Karrigan-sized hole in the roster by throwing money at the problem. They signed Adrian, a major MVP. It didn't work. They signed Neo, a Counter-Strike legend. It didn't work. Finally, they broke the bank. They signed Era, arguably the greatest player in history, for a record-breaking transfer fee. They now had 3 of the best aimers to ever touch the game on one team. But without a conductor, the orchestra was just noise. Nico tried to lead, but the burden was too heavy. The Galacticos became a punchline. They had all the firepower in the world, but they kept shooting themselves in the foot. While FaZe was burning cash, Karrigan was teaching his rookies how to win. By late 2019, everything clicked. The science experiment turned into a machine. Karrigan took the chaos of Woxic and gave it structure. He took the raw skill of Frozen and gave it purpose. In December 2019, they went on a tear that defied logic. They won the Asia Championships, then the ESL Pro League, and then CS Summit. In the span of 30 days, the team nobody took seriously was ranked number 2 in the world. The irony was impossible to ignore. Karrigan had taken a budget roster of teenagers to the top of the mountain, while the super team that kicked him was fighting for scraps in the valley. He had proven his point. He showed the world that he was the brain behind the success. But stories like this rarely end with the hero staying away forever. As 2020 rolled on, FaZe Clan hit rock bottom. Their star player Nico, the man who staged the Mutiny, finally gave up and left for G2 Esports. The organization was left with a broken roster and a bruised ego. They had two choices: dissolve the team or admit they were wrong. In early 2021, they swallowed their pride. They picked up the phone and they begged the Exile to come home. When Karrigan returned to FaZe Clan in early 2021, the world expected instant magic. The mastermind was back. The Galacticos had a brain again. But real life isn't a movie. The magic didn't happen. For an entire year, they struggled. They crashed out of tournaments and they looked disjointed. The critics came back louder than ever. They said the game had evolved past him. They said he was 31 years old, a dinosaur in a game dominated by teenagers. They said coming back was a mistake. But Karrigan wasn't trying to fix the old FaZe. He was building a new one. In 2022, he made the call. He brought in Ropz, the Misfit toy he had raised in Mousesports. The puzzle was finally complete. He had Rain, the loyal soldier who waited 4 years for his captain. He had Twists, the North American aim god. He had Brokey, a sniper with ice in his veins. And now, he had Ropz. Suddenly, the machine turned on. They won Katowice. They climbed to world number 1. But Karrigan didn't care about rankings. He only cared about one thing. The Antwerp Major, May 2022. This was the one that mattered. FaZe Clan tore through the bracket to reach the grand final. But standing in their way wasn't an underdog story like Cloud9. It was the final boss, Na'Vi, the defending champions. Led by Simple, the undisputed greatest player of all time. On paper, Na'Vi was invincible. This was supposed to be Simple's coronation. Karrigan was just the old man standing in the way of history. Map 1 was Inferno, the same map where Karrigan lost the Boston Major 4 years ago. The map that haunted his nightmares. And for a moment, it looked like history was repeating itself. FaZe had a lead. Na'Vi clawed it back. Simple refused to die, and the game went to overtime. In 2018, when the pressure hit, Karrigan crumbled. But this was 2022. The old man didn't freeze. He called the perfect game. They broke the curse. They took Inferno. And on map 2, they smelled blood. Map 2 wasn't a battle. It was a massacre. Rain, the man FaZe almost cut a dozen times, played the game of his life. As the final rounds ticked down, you could see it on Karrigan's face. The realization, the years of failure, the benching, the exile, the 0-16 scores. It was all gone. 4 years after Cloud9 stole his dream in Boston, Finn Karrigan Andersen finally took it back. He was 32 years old, the oldest major winner in history. They said he was the problem. They said he had no aim. They said he was too old. But in the end, FaZe Clan learned the hard way. You can buy the best aimers in the world, but you can't buy a heart like this. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. And make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out the next Counter-Strike Legend video.